Hey everybody, welcome back to another exciting episode of What CD is Rob listening to? And now I begin my reverse chronological Spock's Beard marathon. I'm probably not going to review every album, but I will hit some along the way, and this is the band's latest album. Noise Floor is Spock's Beard's 13th studio album, released in May of 2018, and is the first to feature Nick DiVirgilio on the drums for an entire album since 2010's X album. Jimmy Keegan left the band before this album started, so Nick stepped in to fill in for some already scheduled concerts, and the band recruited him as a session musician for this album. Also, unlike their previous album, The Oblivion Particle, which had 5 songs written by John Boeshold, this album only has 1, unless you count the bonus disc of EP, the bonus EP, which has 3 songs written by him. To Breathe Another Day is a typical sort of tune from the Ted Leonard era. Some really cool keyboard work, killer vocals, and a fantastic vocal melody on this one. What Becomes of Me starts off with a fantastic instrumental section. Bass and drums provided by Dave Meros and Nick DiVirgilio are amazing here. And almost flash before my eyes fill in this section before the vocals kick in with a pretty melody over a beautiful musical performance. This tune also has a wonderful string section. Somebody's Home starts off with acoustic guitar and some keys before joined by electric guitar, before the vocals kick in over a more acoustic guitar-led section, with the drums, bass, and mellotron soon joining in. The chorus is a slow hard rock part with an amazing vocal melody. This one also has a wonderfully emotive guitar solo. There's also an acoustic guitar solo that has an almost doorway sort of feel. You remember the doorway from Beware of Darkness? Well, I remember it. Have We All Gone Crazy Yet is a hard-rocking keyboard-led intro, and almost There Was a Time vibe, that one being from Octane. Cool guitars and organ lead to the first verse, with Ted's voice taking on a bit of a low and gritty sound. The second verse, Ted's back in his usual register. There's some great bass work here. The chorus is just the song title being repeated, but it sounds pretty good to me. The instrumental section is so crazy, this could almost be another Thoughts song. The last thoughts being on Brief Nocturnes and Dreamless Sleep. I love the vocal melody coming out of the instrumental section. Ted sounds phenomenal here. The last minute and a half or so of this tune is so anthemic feeling that it really elevates this song to a favorite from the album. Next up, So This Is Life is an absolutely beautiful track. There's some great drumming moments here, a sort of ethereal vibe from Rio, and some understated and wonderful guitar and string section here. The Beatles had to have been an influence on this tune. The dreamy, sort of trippy vocal performance from Ted is just wonderful. This song is such a melodic beauty with an absolutely perfect guitar solo that it's an obvious choice for a favorite on this album. One So Wise starts off with some absolutely amazing keyboard work. The guitars and drums sound great, but that intro is all Rio. We then move into a more guitar-dominated section, but those keys are still just rocking out. There's a lot of back and forth between keys and guitars before Dave Meros on the bass takes control of the music in the first verse. The vocal melody on this one is also phenomenal, as is a pattern with anything that Ted Leonard is a part of. To be honest, with keys, bass, and guitar all taking their time to shine here, it's really hard to say who turns in the best performance on this track. Musically, it's also good. About halfway through this song, there's a crash and we're treated to an absolute beast of an instrumental section before the song kind of shifts and changes a bit. Feels like kind of a two-parter. This song is an absolute monster and prog rock at its finest. Box of Spiders. This is the band's first instrumental since 2010's the track Kamikaze from the X album. And like that track, this odd and wonderful piece of lunacy was written by Mr. Ryo Akamoto on the keyboards. This song is so weird and disjointed with some fantastic performances turned in by the entire band. It's ultimately a keyboard feast. There's so much strange and beautiful stuff going on in this song. I feel like you could listen to it every day for a year and still not understand all of its twists and turns. This could almost rival Dream Theater's Dance of Eternity for the most killer and out-of-hand prog instrumental of all time. Beginnings is the end of the album proper. At 7.5 minutes, this tune is the longest song on the album and is a progressive rock masterpiece. The first verse feels like we join an epic prog tune already in progress, sort of like Genesis's Fifth of Firth. Most songs end this epic. This song starts epic and never lets up. I'm pretty sure that Ted Leonard turns in one of his greatest vocal performances of his entire career here. We're even treated to some vocals from the wonderful vocal stylings of Mr. Nick DiVirgilio, which just makes this tune that much better, and the absolute best track on the album. This song may rival Jaws of Heaven for me. It's that damn good. I'm just floored at how Ted and Rio wrote an entire 7.5-minute tune that sounds like an epic outro of a longer song. This is definitely some of the best writing in the band's career. So that ends the first disc, but we're also treated to an EP called Cutting Room Floor. It's a bonus EP containing 4 shorter tunes, and at just over 17 minutes, these four songs could have easily fit on the 60-ish minute first disc. And each of the tracks are pretty damn good themselves. Days We'll Remember is a proggy melodic rocking beauty with some wonderful vocal melodies and just beautiful organ work. The music has sort of an epic feel and should have been a single. Bulletproof is a prog rocker at heart. Great vocal melody here and some really nice guitars and keyboard. It's a heavier edge tune with a wonderful epic feel. I'm not sure how this one ended up on the Cutting Room Floor, but I'm glad it was included on the bonus disc at least. Anthem, epic, and proof of how great prog can be. Vault is the only song on the disc not written by John Boeshold, but instead written by the singer, Mr. Ted Leonard. It's a melodic beauty with some great guitar work and the vocals front and center. Once again, it has an epic feel with the doubled vocals and guitar keyboard interplay. This EP ends with another instrumental tune. I love the title on this one, sort of a play on words, I guess, Armageddon Nervous. With a title like that, how could this tune not be delightful? It's not as weird as Box of Spiders, but it's a lot of fun musically. It sort of feels like Structured Insanity, if that makes any sense. Was it Systematic Chaos, Dream Theater used for an album title? Feels like that, kind of just Structured Insanity. There's a lot going on here, but it's still something that you can follow for the most part. It's a great little tune to close out this phenomenal album. Again, from 2018. Now, it's been 5 years, and Spock's Beard still don't have a new album out. In fact, I haven't even heard any whisperings of it. Though last year we did get a fantastic album from Ryo Akamoto. Definitely check that one out. Man, what was that album called? Monsterfuss or something like that. Anyway, it's a fantastic album. Look up Ryo Akamoto, and it'll show you his latest album. Members of Spock's Beard show up on the disc. It's a killer album, and you should check it out. But this album, as I'm ranking the Spock's Beard albums as my favorites, this one ended up a lot higher than I thought it was going to be. I haven't really visited a lot since it came out, so I'm glad I came back to it. Fantastic album. Odd album cover. But anyway, that's my review for Spock's Beard's Noise Floor. Until next time, doodles.